You know, I never know how to start videos. It always makes me feel goofy. My name is Sammy Rahman. I've done tons and tons of websites over the years. I promised Wade that I would talk about it from terms of being a machinist. I'm also a machinist, an amateur machinist in the garage. And so I thought I would take my experience in web design and business development. I'm also a serial entrepreneur. I'm running my 10th company. So it's something I do a lot. And packaging information for different kinds of groups of people is something I've gotten good at over the years. All right, so let's get on the computer and I'll just sort of walk you through the things that I've learned and things that I think that is important to think about when you're designing your first web page. Okay, let's get on the computer. All right, so you're staring at the abyss of like, I know I need a website. Where do I start? What do I need to think about? And that's what this video is going to be about. So I think most people think of websites as being these like super complicated things, and they don't have to be. A lot of it's complicated when you don't know. If you don't have a plan, it's complicated. And if you think that technology is what's going to solve your problem, then it becomes complicated. So I want to reverse engineer that sort of thinking. All right, so let's start with you. You're in your shop, you're making stuff, you think that that stuff is good. Like, hey, man, it's good stuff, right? And maybe someone would want to buy that stuff. So I need a way of going out there and sort of telling the world about my great stuff, right? And if I get lucky, or I'm any good, or my stuff is so fantastic, then I'm going to be able to grow sort of like this nest egg. And maybe my side gig turns into like a full-time gig, or maybe maybe it gives me some financial freedom, or it just allows me to grow bigger or get more gear, like whatever the motivation is, right? So you run out and you pay some web dude like me a bunch of money to build your website, and then you have this like wonderful, beautiful, incredibly exquisite website, and then nothing sort of happens. So why is that? So and that's because if everything, if all you have is a hammer, then everything is a nail, right? And it's because you have run out and said, I need this thing, but I don't know really why. I need this tool, but I don't know why I need this tool. So like, look, as a machinist, you've got dead blow, you've got tons of different kinds of hammers, and each one has a specific thing. And if I were to ask you as a machinist what type of a CNC machine you want, you would ask me a million questions. Well, what type of CNC do I need? You'd ask me a million questions. You're going to use it for, an entry-level CNC could be $1,000 from China, or an entry-level CNC could be $100,000 from Haas, right? And depending on who you are and what you're going to use for it, both of those are entry-level machines, right? So just say I need a machine doesn't mean any sense. That makes total sense in the world of machinists, but it's not doesn't, and it also is true for the world of websites. So let's look at a couple of websites and as a sort of a base point. So let me get, there we go. All right. So the first one I'm going to show you, this the technology behind this, by the way, is Shopify. It's not really important, the technology. What's important is the kind of tool that it is. So this is would be a commercial shop, right? So an e-commerce platform. But what you have here is you've got, let's go to John Grinsmo, and you've got the team, and he's introducing you to the team, and then he's telling you about the team and how you can engage with their team. And then he's telling you about about the products that he makes, and John uses so there's it's funny that you go to his website and you can't actually buy a knife off of his website because there's a backlog, and there's a backlog for both a marketing reason, right? Scarcity drives value, but it's also because John doesn't want to go out, mortgage out everything to get a bunch of gear. He wants to build his company out of his pocket, and so that he owns 100% of it and doesn't go in debt. And that's a really smart move. But as a result, he can't make 1,000 knives a day to fill demand, and so that relationship keeps the demand high, keeps the price up high, and allows him to focus on the product, what he's good at, right? But I think it's very funny that he has a website that sells knives, and there are like, you can't buy a knife on there. Then in a similar one, this is John Saunders' website, and he shows you, this is also a not Spotify, Shopify website, and you can see here that he's got all of his products, and even training is a product, and he's got a little bit of about. So a little less than John Grimsmo. He here is really just, this is what I have, and if you want to buy it, great. It's a transactional sort of Amazon kind of thing. But John has the other side of this too, which is he has this entire educational site, NYC, which is an expression, where Grimsmo has the YouTube videos and John Saunders had the YouTube videos. John is now trying to control the delivery of that and by doing it through this website. And this website, he uses the technology underneath is WordPress. It's a lot more options, and he can do a lot more customization with it. But it's a much more elaborate investment in time and energy. Both of them are e-commerce platforms, or all three of these are e-commerce platforms. But you get a sense of one delivers a way of connecting with John Grimsmo. John Saunders is a way of actually buying product, and then his NYC website is a way of delivering customer value and education. All right. So that gets me to my first point, and that is, what does your store need to look like? And I want to use the store metaphor not just as a e-commerce metaphor, but as an actual, like, if you were to physically materialize it, what does a store is a tool? It's a place for people to come in, and for you to engage with those people. What does your store look like? So you're going to start, like any website, with a blank room, and you're going to have to fill it. And what are you going to fill it with? And what style is it? What does the tool or the store need to serve? What's the customer, and what needs to get done in that store? In these, do you want it to be light and airy from a visual perspective? Do you want it to be? But more importantly, what is the tool going to be used for? And I'm going to show you now some more websites. I'm going to show you a couple of my websites, and I'm going to show you how each tool is totally different. So like John Saunders and John Grimsmo's e-commerce site, this one's not a Shopify. This is an HTML one, but this is one of my audience is the disability community, and so I build tools for people in wheelchairs, as an example, to be able to change their bearings in their own wheelchairs so that they're not pushing as hard. So this is a traditional website. I've got my product. I've got a little bit about us, just like John Saunders. But this is the other side of that website. This is this one's called Disability Lab, and you can think about it like a maker space for people with disabilities. So this is like a job shop kind of website. So I've got my services, but I really what this is about is it's about who we are and to show people all the different projects that we've done. So if you look under projects, what you have here is a very detailed list of projects. So I'll show you the bearing pullers that we designed under that other previous website, and you can see the client need, the important factors that we had to consider, the challenges, and then how we created our solution, what technology we used, different images. I'm bringing you into the product, and then I'm saying, do you want one? I always close every page with a call to action. But even in a project that, these are anti-tip bars for wheelchairs. This is very few people in wheelchairs need this, and it was a custom project for a client of ours. So I go through the whole same thing. I talk about the solution, I talk about the technology that's used, and I get them involved. I even show them the CAD model because I want them to be engaged. So there's things that they can click on to be engaged, to show them, hey, this is what I will do for you for your same problem. This is how I solve those problems. This is what I will do for you. And you can see on screen as this loads up, I think it's right here. I already have it. You can see it on screen load up. There is the anti-tip bar. So it's a way of engaging. And then at the end, what I want you to do, I want you to come contact me. So every one of these pages follows the sort of same template, which is I'm going to invest in you information, and I want you to come. I want you to come contact me. But on the other side of it, here in the Disability Lab website, I'm trying to create value and show that value in everything I do. On the other far side of that is my SammyRaman.com website. And this if you've seen me on a social network, or I've said something that really impacted you and you do a search for my name, I want you to be able to contact me, but I don't need to sell you anything. So this is just simply, it's a one-page website, and you can think of it like a greeting, like a business card. All I want you to do is contact me. I'm not investing necessarily in you. I'm showing you how you connect with me, but I'm not necessarily giving you a bunch of stuff like the Disability Lab website. All right. So that brings me up to my next point. And this point is super important, which is when you're designing a website, you need to decide you are really creating a cult. And I use that very specifically. If you look at the brands that are out there that drive value, John Grimsmo, John Saunders in our space, if you look at Apple, if you look at Amazon or Costco, they're really sort of creating, well, maybe not Costco, but Saunders, and in our world, when we're developing these personalized products and they're handcrafted, you really have to create a following. And what you have to decide is not whether you need a cult. You got to decide kind of what your cult's going to be about and where it's going to live. So in John Saunders' website, his cult is living in the NYC CNC website, but you're buying stuff off of the Johnders Machine Works website. In Grimsmo's version, you're buying stuff off of his website. Well, you really just get an email and then you're going to buy it off the website, but his cult lives on YouTube. And his community lives on the social networks. And since we're all sort of Facebook ones, you can assume that part of your cult can live on Facebook, right? But the whole key thing is you want to invest enough time into your cult. Like, where's your cult going to live? But at the end, what you really want is you want your cult to really be subscribing to the way you see the universe. And the only way to really, really do that is to add value to them in some way. And I just want to stop and pause and talk about a guy who I've recently picked up on YouTube, Ecom Knives. I really think that when he is talking to the camera, he is genuinely trying to talk to me about knives. Like, I'm not a knife maker. I don't understand knife making. It's not something, I don't carry a pocket knife. It's like none of that. But I like the way that he just pours his heart and soul into like everything. Like, I know that if I'm going to buy something from Ecom, if I were a knife guy and I bought something from Ecom, I know it would be like made with love. I think with Grimsmo is a little bit different in his cult. It is made with love, and you can see the love in it, but it's also made with this like insane, he sells a brand of OCD, which is like insane precision, right? That's his brand, right? So those are different cults, but you need, it's not just having a cult that's important, it is what are you doing for your cult that becomes, and where that cult lives. And that's a super important point. The website is a tool in your cult strategy. All right. Third, I thought we would look at some sort of underlying technology to show you how you, once you've figured out where your cult's going to live and how you're going to communicate to your cult, how you go about actually build a website. So here's the actual technical parts of it. So sorry to make you guys wait for it so long. This is, so this tool is made with something called Adobe Muse, which is there are tools out there. So there are three components to a website: the server, where the website lives, the design aspect. So if it's an HTML website, you design in one program, you upload to a server in another, and then you have other server software that, for example, will like the e-commerce piece that handle the transaction. So it's like your desktop, the website, the host server, and the e-commerce piece. Then something like WordPress will combine the design piece of it on the server, on the same server that you are then distributing your context. So you can basically design it from anywhere, have a bunch of people involved. It's a much more communal platform, and then you can serve it up. And then something like Shopify does the e-commerce piece, the design piece, and the server piece all in one. So it depends on what level of, like, I have servers that I can host on, no problem. I have designed tools that I want to use on my computer, no problem. So to me, breaking them apart in separate pieces makes a total sense. For other people, like Wix, everything's done on one spot, or like Shopify, everything's done on one spot. And if you're not a web person, I definitely think you got to go Shopify first. You can still do a lot of cult elements on Shopify, but you don't need to use huge amount of effort it takes to learn WordPress and deal with all the technical problems with WordPress. But let me show you, I'm going to show you a simple website design tool to just kind of give you a sense of this. This is this is called MobiRise. It is a sort of canned website solution that just allows you to just put together rapid websites. So I'm going to create a page here, and so this is my test page. And you can see on my test page, it is literally just blank. I've got my header from the main website, and I don't have anything else on the page. And I just come down here, I click a button, I come down here, and I have already made my own sort of custom footer. So I'm going to grab a footer, and there's my custom footer with my contact information. And then I'm going to come in here, and I will put a splash screen to start, and then I want to put, maybe I want to write an article. So I'll put a title in the article and put some pictures in. And then I can go in here and just click on it and fill those things out. And if I want to take my pictures and drag and drop them in, I just click on there and drag and drop stuff in. So this kind of idea, this kind of strategy of complete, you're separating the design from the technology piece of it. So you pour the content into somebody else's design, and then you click a button and it gets published. That's the kind of, if it's your first website and you don't want to pay, because you can pay thousands of dollars to have people do all this custom stuff for you, then that's the kind of road I would lead you down. And because we're making things and we're wanting to sell those things, then I would push you down the Shopify road, because it's everything all in one. The design is there, the e-commerce piece is there. You don't have to worry about the transaction. You fill out some things, you type in your information, and you go. And so, all right, so that's where I'm at with that. But I did want to show you like how easy website design can be. Again, this is not content. The content is where I create the cult, and without that plan, the content plan, I can't create my cult. Without creating my cult, I don't have a good website and I'm not giving them any value, so therefore I'm not creating value for my customer. And my product may speak 1,000 words, but if no one knows about it, and if I don't have enough following, there's no word of mouth, and so therefore it's never going to grow. Unless you want to spend millions of dollars advertising, you're going to advertise through words of mouth, and so your website's really going to be a help desk and a place where you can cultivate your cult. All right. Last but not least, thank you. If you have questions, PM me on Facebook or whatever. I'm happy to answer all these questions. If you want me to dive deeper into any of these topics, let me know. This is sort of like my sort of first blush at what is important for things that you need to think about before you make your first website. I hope this is valuable. Thank you. You can reach me at samirahman.com, SAMIRAHMAN.com. Thank you. Have a great day.